Good morning, Renegades. I hope that you're doing marvelously well. Welcome to Harmonic Defiance. I am Apollo 22, and this is kind of a Gold World update, but it's a little bit different this morning because I'm tuning in, and as I tune in, things tend to change, and I'm very open and receptive to changes. Especially when it involves the Galactic Federation of Renegades in particular. And so, if this is the first time that you've tuned into this channel, I am a multi path, multi dimensional channeler, and I sit at the table with the Galactic Federation of Light, which basically includes the whole universe now. And I would strongly encourage you to step into your knowing and know that you do too. Especially if you tuned into this frequency, because I'm definitely bringing a different message in than a lot of the channelers right now that I've seen and tune into and watch faithfully. Some of them, and even shout out to Shauna L. Francis. She inspired this, got me into the right frequency, even though it's completely different than what she was talking about. It got me into the right frequency, and I encourage anybody out there to use whatever means necessary to come into your knowing. um Excuse me. If you dig what I'm laying down, man, then hit the like, hit the subscribe. That lets me know that I'm on the right path and I'm developing in the right way. I'm sure you and I, or anybody that's watching, we have a long way to go. We're kind of marching along together. So I feel very grateful to know who I am and have full remembrance, and to be able to get up into these levels. But it did take a decent amount of work. If you're unfamiliar with the term harmonic defiance literally means we are standing in harmony against the dark and the evil forces that are controlling this planet. Okay, we are standing in harmony against injustice like racism or sexism, or any kind of isms, for that matter, homophobia, whatever it is. We are standing in harmony against that, and that's what harmonic defiance stands for, and at least that's what it stands for on my channel and why I chose to name it that. Um, Today, I'm not going to belabor a whole bunch of stuff, but today we're going to get into masculinity and the lack of it on the channels out there. And over the last, I would say, oh, I mean, basically since I started to broadcast, I have this thing with masculinity. And, I've been listening to channels for years and years and years and years of my life. This isn't like I woke up one day and I decided to open up a channel. It's like I was a student for a very, very long time. And it seems like a lot of people are talking about, yeah, we're going to integrate the the femme and the masculine sides of ourselves, and that's very true. But there is a masculine side, and I want to straighten this out right away. It does not matter if you're in a female body; you can have a masculine spirit. And that masculine side is just as badass as any badass man that's walking around the planet. And we have these feelings and we identify with these things. And it kind of seems like this is not really being talked about, like exactly what a renegade is. Now, the first thing I will say is that we don't kill. We don't want to kill. We have killed in the past in wars, depending on where we've been called to service. It's part of my PTSD, and is a part of a lot of people's PTSD that I've talked to that are in this renegade class of light worker. So we don't want to discount that at all. And the other thing is that telepathy is on right now. And with telepathy being on, the dark is in that telepathy. And that is by design. One, we're working with them against the evil invaders, the ones that weren't supposed to be here, that interrupted our network. But the other thing is that the dark side that serve our prime creator are also a prime creator, and they have their own agendas and stuff, and we created this so we could have our own evolutionary experience with that resistance. It's the ones that came in and basically annihilated our dark side, if you really want to know the truth of the matter. So that's all coming back on right now, and you need, or you should have, some really strong masculine energy to stand in the face of that, just flat out. And you can say, depart from me, I rebuke you, I don't want you, get the hell out of here, leave my relatives alone, leave everybody alone. I don't care who the hell you are, and be able to stand there not scared and tell them, bam. And, we designed this planet so masculine energy, we fought battles. We protected our women and children. We raised up. We were supposed to be the head of the family. Now, I keep saying this over and over again, that it doesn't matter what body you're in. If you're a male or female, you're going to identify. And, girly girls like being girly girls. Girls don't necessarily want to deal with all the blood and gore of a battle. And just because we finally have ascended to the point where these battles are now going to be fought in spiritual terms down here, there was a long history of carnage to win Earth back. And, being a man was all part of the divine plan. You have to remember who you were when you came here and what did you sign up for. Not everybody is going to sit on a riverbank and assume a position and channel other people and all that. It's all wonderful. It's all part of it. Okay. But this channel, I keep getting like over and over again. No, we want you to talk about being a man, and as like a 30-year past biker, Harley, black leather, Saddle Tramp was my name, okay? And making 100,000 or better a year, okay? I was able to travel, do a whole bunch of stuff. I know what being a man, quote unquote, is, and I like it. So if I like it, what's wrong with it? Okay? And my twin flame, who I got a ton of videos out there on, I don't know her, but she says, I'm the one with the pussy. You don't have a pussy. I love a strong man. And what I get out there in a lot of these communities, we're going to integrate and we're not going to have this and we're not going to have that. No, anger is absolutely a valid emotion. It's how things change. Outrage is a valid emotion. It's how things change. People were outraged with George Floyd. It spawned the Black Lives Matter movement, which was protests and obviously hostilities between the police and government and the people in the streets. Now, how is things going to change without all of those things, right? If we're all, now some people are called, don't get me wrong, everybody has got, that's why I said, what was your mission when you came in here? You got to know that. Because there's a lot of people that are called to sit in that corner and meditate and move energy around, and that's what they do. And that's what they have to do. That's their sole mission. And that is just as important as that person that's out there in the street fighting for equality or feminism, okay? Or fighting against homophobia and transphobia, okay? These are the things, and there's a lot of women out there doing it too, and they carry a radical feminist view. And I love that. My twin flame, she is a radical feminist, and I know it. And she's the one that's saying, no, you don't have what I have downstairs. I want a strong man, and she's strong in her own ways. She's like beyond me in a lot of different ways. And that's cool. I can tell you, being an alpha male on the first order, first generation, okay, like a son of the actual earth, I have a massive heart. I do not default into judgment. I don't, and bitterness. I don't judge. Okay, for the most part, judgment is part of our existence. We have to judge. Like, this is good, this is bad. I don't want to be like him. I don't want my kids to follow that example. Okay, I want to have this in my life because it's good, and I don't want that because it's bad. That's all judgment. So, a lot of these people that say, oh, you're not judging, they're wrong too. We judge all day long. So when you get down to judging other people, that's the problem. You don't know your limits. Okay, but very little ego has to do with this also. All those, the sore losers, and they got all their emotions and angers where they want to wind up and hit a woman or hit another man or their kids. I came out of a situation like that as a kid who was hit, beat. So, that isn't, but there were parts of that man that did that to me that taught me how to be a man. He was my stepdad, but he really did. And there were a lot of lessons that I learned that carry with me that make absolute sense. But he was a military man and everything else, You also got to ask yourself, what are you angry about? Are you actually angry about, world hunger or the coronavirus that was horribly mismanaged by the government, covered up, lied to the world, and had this huge, basically, genocide where now all these pharmaceutical companies, everybody is actually profiting from it. And I am not an anti-vaxxer. I believe in science. I believe that all of the people that were working on this vaccine were people that were anointed, have their own anointings and so forth, their own soul missions, and their soul mission is to try to stop all these people from dying. So they're not throwing out stuff there for mind control and nanobots, even though they have that technology. The people that are working on this, virologists and so forth, their energy is going into this along with all the technology, and so that vaccine is going to be as safe as it's going to be. And if some people feel that they don't, I've heard that too, but you have to understand what you're angry about, and then you have to understand how you fit in. And I have friends all over the gamut. I've got more white friends because that's where I grew up, but I have black friends. I got friends in every spectrum, and they're laid back, and it's like people have told me, it's like, wow, everybody knows Errol. I'm going, well, it's because I can talk to anybody no matter what station of life you're in, but I can still be like this, like serious hard ass about shit, just like, no, that is really fucked up and it's repugnant and it needs to end. And I was an activist. I got an award from the ACLU plaque talking about how I defended American civil liberties. I've got recognition from the city of Detroit, and so, it's not, I put for a time before I got into my intergalactic insanity, I put a lot of effort into making change on the street, leading protests, speaking at protests, being everywhere. There are videos of me all out there, being on the news every other night, fighting for people. So, I was there, and that anger is what propelled me to be able to, plus being able to speak, propelled me into these things. So the next thing is Prime Creator a wimp? If you have been behind the veil and you are in the ninth, 12th dimension, that means that you have been exposed to Prime Creator's energy. And when I was exposed to Prime Creator's energy, it was like, ah, 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 wow. Okay? I mean, unreal. I mean, it was literally that. And if I meet somebody that says that they're on the ninth, 12th dimension that says they did not feel or see Prime Creator's energy, they probably are not there. And I'm feeling that. I can say that with a certainty because it's a security thing. It's a security thing. But Prime Creator is no wimp. And our design is a beautiful design. And we designed this. Creator gods. We did. We designed it. We allowed things from all over the universe onto this planet. And we were guardians and stewards of this. And they did not defeat the security system. We had to shut it down. We lost it in war. You know. So now we're back. We are back. We are back. And we are first fruits of Prime Creator. First fruits of Prime Creator. That means we are gods. You are a god. You're not. Big G. We're not even close to Prime Creator. But we really need to start thinking in those terms. And all that means is that we create everything. We create everything in a thought, in a moment, in an intention, in an emotion, in a word. In the beginning, there was a word, and we spoke it into existence. So everything that comes out of your mouth right now, better watch it. So we have to start thinking that we are one. We are sons and daughters of the Most High. We're sons and daughters of. So what does that make us? That makes us gods. Doesn't make us peons. And some people, they will never, ever, ever understand that. And it's cool. It's not in this lifetime that they will understand it. It doesn't mean that they will never understand it. But having a nice, secure 3D life where you can have a living and you can raise a family and you're young souls and you're going through all this karmatic experience so you can have the responsibility and understand what it's like to be in the 5th dimension and then work your way up to the 9th and 12th dimension. And when the 8th comes back on, that'll be magical. When the 4th gets cleaned out, man, Earth is just going to be like this magical place to live on again. I mean, it really is. They screwed up the 4th dimension. So, you know, there's a couple of polluted dimensions that got to get cleaned up, but that's okay. It's going to happen. Before I really kind of wrap this up, you have to know that you are a creator God. You have to know that there were creator gods that got into bed with these dark entities that sold us all out all down the river. And those are the creator gods that hoard all of the secrets to themselves and that are the 1% right now. But I can tell you that now that the telepathy's back on, there are factions of the Illuminati that are like, fuck this shit. Okay? There are our loyal opposition, those that serve Prime Creator, that serve our God, are falling in line, and everybody is now in alignment against this evil. Okay? Everybody is now in alignment against this evil. It doesn't mean that bad things don't happen in your life. Bad things are supposed to happen in our lives. I mean, if we all lived in Nirvana, what the fuck do we need life for? You know, we could just be an amoeba and go swim in a pond and have a constant orgasm all day and all night, you know, which I think that's kind of what they do when they But, I mean, if we're not living, then it doesn't make sense, for us to we have to have a resistance. The problem is right now it's unbalanced. It's not balanced. So, they take all your money with sports betting in the casinos, and then they put you in jail, and then they charge the government for putting you in jail. People make a whole they trade your heads on Wall Street like they trade cattle, you know. And so these are the people that are, we're aligning against. Even the dark forces are like, your time is up. There's not a continent on this world right now that is not erupting, and some kind of dark energy is being exposed in the light. If it's Myanmar, if it's in France, if it's in Brussels, Brazil, it doesn't matter. It's erupting. I pay attention to the United States, but, when I watch world news, I can see it. I just don't do it. So our time has come. Things that you can do. One is turn off the TV. Limit your TV. Renegades, we don't disconnect. We want to know what's going on in the news. We want to know what's going on around the world. It's just in our nature. Okay, so for those that can go out in the middle of nowhere and just commune under a pine tree, that's like really cool. I love that. And I love doing it for short periods of time. But I need to know. I want to know because I have kids in this world. I have grandkids in this world. I have parents in this world. I have people that I care about in this world. I care about the United States and what happens inside the United States. I care about racism. I care about gay rights. I care about a whole lot of things. People not being to eat. People getting their houses taken away from them illegally. Okay, getting water shut off, kids that are in constant, toxic environments. I mean, you're talking, I live in Detroit. It's like the most dangerous city in the United States. And the blight and the poverty, it looks like a war. It might as well be in Syria or Palestine. It is that blown out in Detroit. And if you don't believe me, welcome. I took the UN. Square Biz took the United Nations on a tour, a bunch of us activists in 2015, okay, and literally toured them through Detroit. And they called. I mean, they wrote letters and called, and, they wanted, but Square Biz, okay? But what I had to do is I had to get off Facebook. It was taking too much time. I was spending 2, 3, sometimes 4 hours on Facebook a day, and I'm like, no. I mean, I still pop on every day, but it's only a half hour, whatever. And then I started walking every day, cloud or sun. I have to get these codes loaded in, and it's cold. It's like 15 degrees outside in Michigan right now in Detroit, but I still go out there. And then I just have to be who I am. And who I am is like, there's just some shit that cannot be justified, and it will never be justified in my head. And as a galactic warrior, okay, as somebody that goes through the universe and incarnates on the planets that have these kinds of problems, to shed hard light or to fight a war, to get somebody along, or to accelerate a timeline, which is basically what renegades do. Renegades accelerate timelines. When we come on, and it's like, watch them smoke. I kind of think that Jesus was a renegade of light. Everybody thinks that he's all laid back and stuff like that. He was not laid back. And there are accounts of him. They said, like, if we acted like Jesus, we couldn't be Christians if we acted like Jesus. Right? I mean, and they definitely killed him, because he was radical for that time. And there's been lots of radicals that have come in and have been martyrs where we've accelerated. That's part of the Renegade of Light family. What we do is we accelerate timelines. And right now, it's like 5D's back on. We're accelerating in the 5D, but this is still going to take years. Okay? So, I mean, stepping into your knowing, just that's the whole thing right now. Raise the consciousness. The faster you can get online and collective consciousness, the faster the collective learns. So my Akashic tables are there. Now your Akashic tables go there. Everything that you're learning as you go through the day gets uploaded. Everything that I'm learning and the revelations that I'm having is getting, and we're all communing up there on that level. And that's what gives us the ability to solve the problems, whatever you're focused on, to solve the problems that you're focused on. And you pull that out, and it's a thought like, oh, never thought of that. That's a really good idea. You thought it, but that's the link out to the collective conscious. So it's very important that we get in there right now, and it's very important that our emotions lead. So it's like, you could definitely be upset and angry about some stuff and let that float up, but don't let it take you off your path. Don't let it paralyze you. Don't accept that. Don't accept sickness, but you got to know it's there. And if you're a healer, you got to know that you can chase that sickness out of somebody's body, out of your own body, or out of the air. Whatever. There's a lot of y'all folks out there right now communicating with people that have passed and transitioned on, and you're bringing direct messages to family members and this and that, and there's celebrities, and also all that stuff is, that's exactly what you're supposed to be doing if you're called to do that. It's, a lot of the crystal children that are all out there, we're getting more focused. Okay. So, some stuff just can't be justified, and that's how things change, and things also change the strength of the emotion. So, if you know for a fact that you're really, 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 really pissed off that we had the Capitol riots and how deplorable that was, and what it actually showed for somebody that was in office and power to actually try to topple a government like the United States. Okay. And so the more pissed off you are, the more it's like all that energy will be directed in collective conscious to those people that are responsible for bringing President Trump and any of his minions to justice. And that's how it works. And right now he's got a whole bunch of supporters over there that are saying, at least 71 million that are saying, you can't do it, you can't do it. And then the rest of us over here, but if we get more and more pissed off about it collectively, that energy overrides and goes directly to the people that are making those decisions, and they start making those decisions. It's like President Biden coming in. What did he do yesterday with the immigrants? Reuniting children, applying resources to it, revamping DACA, seeing if there's a direct path in for people that were separated and actually had to live through the Trump nightmare of separating children. For the life of me, I have abandonment issues. And that is the most horrible shit in the fucking world. Excuse my language, but it's horrible. Think about it. You're 6, you're 4, you're 3. They're gonna pull you away from your parents. So, that energy has now shifted. And now it's all about reuniting, but not only reuniting, but making that family whole, getting them into the United States, getting them the political asylum that they need, get them onto a path where they can actually have a life, where they don't have to live in fear and panic and death and rot. And we got to get it right here in the United States too, in our poor cities like Detroit, East St. Louis, and Newark, and Cleveland, and there's a lot of interesting cities. Okay, the last thing I just wanted to talk about is that holding that attention and holding that resistance energetically actually is like a massive counteraction to what's going on. You can send all sorts of healing to those issues like that, and that's needed too. I mean, I mean, it's just as important in some ways to send the healing and the love, but my intention is that hard light gets shown on all of these evil doers. I got all sorts of choice words to call these people. But these evil people, like, no, they need to be held accountable. Like, we need to drag them down, the middle of the street. These people they're not of our God. So either, get the hell out of here, and get off of all these other planets that you've managed to enslave because of Earth's enslavement, okay, and just leave. Okay, and or be pissed off that these police officers did not get held accountable. And as we raise our collective anger toward these things, then that energetically will start to move the needle in the other direction. And it's, in a lot of ways, it's like this big conspiracy that you always forgive and you turn the other cheek and all that. It's like, no, you're doing some really bad stuff. You can't just go in a confessional and say you're sorry and then go out and kill another 100 million people. That isn't the way that it works. When you say you're sorry, you better say you're sorry and never do it again, or try not to do it again. But there are people out there that are killing people, that are poisoning water. They don't give a shit about anything but the money that's coming back to them. Just flat out. And so they don't care about you. They don't care about that. These people are savages and all this other stuff, But that's why my anger toward these kinds of things, especially, I'm not necessarily angry and want civil unrest, but it's like by whatever means necessary. And I know God's on my side, because is he going to stand for a Nazi like Trump? Or is my God going to be on my side saying he's a Nazi? You guys have the power to go try him. You have the power to pull him into the light, pull his pants down, expose this whole thing. If people get angry enough within the collective consciousness, that's exactly what would happen. They would start getting held accountable, instead of energetically we always pass the other cheek. Oh, we're going to rise above it, and that's something that they perpetuated out there, something that is a revelation to me too, because you always say, oh, you got to send the opposite. No, you send all sorts of nasty thoughts over there. You're the creator gods. They're destroying us, what we created together. Okay, and if you're not pissed off about what they're doing to Mother Earth and that, and I know this is different for a lot of people, and I'm not trying to say that your way there's no one way better than the other. That isn't what I'm saying. But I'm saying, even for some of those tree huggers out there, y'all need to start getting a little mad and go stand up, go join a protest group, put some stuff out on YouTube and say how mad you are, right? And start writing. Do whatever you're going to do. Collective consciously, we have to use that emotion to kick their asses. That's what it comes down to. And we fight with spiritual tools, And I know that when I get into my prayer language, and I'm right, I can move mountains, and I can be mad. In my mind, there's a war when I'm speaking my prayer language in the heavens, and I'm dispatching chariots of fire, celestial beings. Here comes the archangels and the renegades. The renegades got, Harleys and shit, I mean, and they're coming in and they're slaying that other energy. Slaying, just taking it out. Bam. Okay, but we have to do it because we're the creators down here. This is our earth. So we have to be able to do that. So that's basically what the message was today. Uh, I guess I'm gonna just call this as be a man, no matter if you're a woman or a man. But yeah, it that definitely came through today. And the other thing is that yeah, the dark is definitely into telepathy now, and that's not a bad thing. That's not a bad thing. A bad thing. You ask them what they want, and in fact, it shocked me so much. I was like, "Hey, Lucifer, what's up? Been a long time." And I mean, I'm just using that for an example, but it's kind of like, when you talk about fallen angels, you're talking also about celestial beings that in I'm getting this right from up top. In Lucifer's case, he came down to fight, and when it's over, he's going back to his rightful place. But he had to fight on this level, and wow, there's some heavy duty stuff out there. Um, I guess what I'm getting is that yeah, the we are working together as hard as we possibly can. The light and dark forces are working together. I mean, when I say like we're working together, it's like almost like full disclosure. And that's because the invaders have gotten to the point where we're all evolving at the same time. So the I call them the invaders or the evil people that don't serve our God are evolving, and we're evolving, trying to. And every time we get to a point where we're at right now, where we've accelerated to the point now where the grid is back on, telepathy's back on, and then if you have like, if you're a renegade, if you're related to the celestial beings, I'm not really getting it from. Yeah, so like if you're on a Syrian council, or if you're like that, you're really not in this particular class of archangels and stuff like that at that. But when you're at this level, uh there's a lot of coordination in there. From what I'm getting, there has been, in the higher dimensions. We wanted to incarnate in the third dimension because that's where we have all our fun. We can be out on boats, we can be in nature, we can drive across country, we can have this experience, right? But then up in the ethereal, it's quite a different relationship because we all serve one God, one prime creator, which is that. And literally, these people were not of our prime creator. Like they got their own God somewhere out there in a distant galaxy, far, far away, like Star Trek. And so it's like, yeah, either you're gonna be rehabilitated, or you're gonna leave, or we're done. And it's the collective consciousness as telecommunications increase. People can see what's going on around the world, as telepathy comes on, and now my counterparts in Africa or Britain or New Zealand or Denmark are online. We don't have to know each other. We're just all part of the collective consciousness, and that's raising our vibration. And with the raising of the vibration includes those vibrations that are saying that kind of behavior and those kinds of things and that kind of exploitation can no longer exist. But there's still going to be a dark side. There has to be a loyal opposition, a resistance that can cause pain, death, and everything that we felt. Think about if we went through life and people would die and we didn't feel that. I mean, that would be kind of horrible, wouldn't it? Like, you don't feel your dad dying. I mean, so all these things are here for because we designed them to be here, and that's what it is. Okay, I think that's it for today, guys. Is that it? I think so. I went longer than I thought I was going to go, as usual, but I thought this was a really good one. So, one, embrace your masculine side if that's what you are. Step into your knowing would be number two. We talked about what it might mean for you to be a man and or masculine, prime creator, things that you can do, and then freedom fighters. So yeah, we got it all. All right, folks. Peace and love. We will catch you very shortly.